They declared the dynasty was finished. They claimed Mahomes was abandoned, stripped of his arsenal. Someone just stepped into Arrowhead with a firestorm capable of reshaping the entire season before the first snap even hits the turf. If you thought you'd already witnessed the pinnacle of this Kansas City offense, think again. Watch this video to the very end, because what I'm about to reveal may completely transform the way you view the Chiefs' future. Smash that like button. Drop a W if you still believe, or an L if your faith is faltering. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay one step ahead of the NFL curve. Let me lay this out slowly and deliberately, because too many are missing the bigger picture. This isn't just another draft pick. This isn't a throwaway rookie or some training camp extra. This is a strategic strike, a cold-blooded, calculated decision from a franchise still clawing for more glory, still hungry despite the trophies on the shelf. The Kansas City Chiefs have just acquired a young weapon by the name of Jaylen Royals from Utah State, and mark my words, by midseason, his name will be as familiar to you as Kels, Mahomes, and Rice. Yes, he was taken in the 4th round, but don't be fooled. If you understand the Chiefs' scouting philosophy, if you've listened to Ryan Nutt, the director of player personnel, you already know this might be the biggest heist of the entire 2025 NFL draft. Nay, Jaylen Royals wasn't some wild gamble. He was projected as a 2nd or 3rd rounder, meaning every other team passed on him not once, but multiple times. And now those same franchises may spend the next few years haunted by that oversight. Royals ran a blazing 4.40 at the combine, but speed alone isn't what makes this move lethal. What makes this pickup dangerous, truly devastating, is that he brings exactly what Kansas City has been missing: yards after catch. That means Mahomes no longer needs to go deep on every play. It means the short and intermediate zones are now explosive territory. It means linebackers will be exposed. The safeties will need perfect angles, because once Royals gets the ball, he's gone. And here's where it gets chilling. Chief scouts are already comparing him to Rashee Rice. Yes, that Rashee Rice, the breakout rookie who torched defenses for 938 yards and 79 receptions. The guy who electrified Arrowhead until an injury pulled the plug. Let's be honest, Mahomes is a magician, but even magic needs its... Rice was that spark. His injury left a void. But the best organizations don't react, they prepare. So what's the contingency plan if Rice isn't 100? Enter Jaylen Royals. Now, I'm not saying Royals is a one-to-one replica, but if you read between the lines, you'll see what the front office is really doing. They're not just adding depth, they're building resilience. They're creating redundancy without compromise, ensuring that no single injury can derail the momentum. From day one, Royals will be thrown into a receiver room with Xavier Worthy, a first-rounder, and hopefully a rejuvenated Rashee Rice. He'll need to absorb Andy Reid's playbook, arguably one of the most intricate in football. He'll need to synchronize with Patrick Mahomes, a generational quarterback with unmatched improvisational genius. And despite all that, insiders believe he's going to see the field early. That speaks volumes. But let's take it further, because this story isn't just about stats. It's about mindset. Royals comes from Utah State, a program that doesn't bask in SEC spotlight. He's battled for every rep, every opportunity, every ounce of recognition. Players like that, those with something to prove, outwork, outlearn, and outlast. They're coachable, they're relentless. They're wired for war. And if you're Mahomes, Reid, or anyone in that huddle, you don't want prima donnas. You want dogs, guys who want to smoke, guys who live for the moment. Let's talk fit. This offense thrives on creating mismatches and mayhem, stretching defenses vertically and horizontally, turning a 7-yard slant into a 57-yard soul snatcher. Royals, he's got burst, he's got fight. He'll need to polish his route tree just like Rice did. But the raw potential is undeniable. And here's what separates contenders from pretenders: the willingness to develop talent. Not just plug in stars, but sculpt them. Kansas City has already proven it can do that. Now, if Royals buys him, and by all accounts he will, this could be the beginning of something dangerous. And for opposing defensive coordinators, let's just say sweet dreams are over. Knowing defensive coordinators must now account for Mahomes, Kelsey, Worthy, Rice, and Royals. That's 5 dynamic threats who can accelerate, pivot, break tackles, and manufacture chaos after the catch. How do you even construct a game plan for that? Do you drop into 2 deep safety shells and concede the short game? Fine, Royals, and Rice will shred you underneath. Try to press and jam at the line. Fine, Worthy will streak past you, and Mahomes will hit him in stride with a 40-yard missile. It's a nightmare, plain and simple. And this is where it becomes chess, not checkers. Because when you give Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Patrick Mahomes this arsenal, they don't just play football, they orchestrate warfare. With Royals, you can motion him across the formation, deploy him in the slot, Weaponize him on jet sweeps, screens, slants, hitches, you name it. Every time he touches the ball, he's a threat to turn 5 yards into 25. And every time a defender has to account for Royals, that's one fewer eye on Kels, one less defender shadowing Rice, one more blind spot for Worthy to exploit. This offensive setup doesn't just add flexibility. It creates multiplicity. And when you're multiple, you're dangerous. Now let's revisit Ryan Nutt's critical insight. Route running to the casual fan, it might sound trivial, but in the NFL, routes are the razor-thin line between touchdowns and turnovers. Royals needs to refine his footwork, sharpen his brakes, and master the timing of the offense. But so did Rashee Rice, and look what he became. If Royals follows a similar developmental trajectory, the Chiefs could wind up with 2 Yak monsters, each commanding their side of the field, each demanding double coverage. And that, my friends, is how dynasties don't just survive, they evolve. Make no mistake, this isn't about 2025. This is about 2026, 2027, and beyond. The Chiefs understand the urgency. They've seen the arms race in the AFC. The Bengals, the Bills, the Ravens all loading up, all chasing the crown. And what do you do when you're the reigning king with the target on your back? You reload. You find untapped value. You invest in youth. You take calculated swings. Royals is that calculated swing. And if it lands, it won't just change Kansas City's depth chart. It could alter the entire trajectory of the franchise. I've seen what happens to teams that grow complacent. They fall in love with the roster. They stop adding pressure. They stop bringing in challengers. Not in Kansas City. They took Xavier Worthy in the first round. Then they turned around and grabbed Jaylen Royals in the fourth. That's not luck. That's strategy. They're building layers, not just lineups. They're insulating themselves from injuries. They're constructing an offense with depth, danger, and dominance at every position. Now, let's zoom in on what this really means. Not just for Royals, not just for Rashee Rice, not even just for Mahomes, but for the entire arc of the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward, because this wasn't a routine day 3 flyer. This wasn't a pick just to fill a camp body slot. This was a statement. You don't use a draft pick on a receiver projected to go 2 rounds earlier, one who clocks 440 in the 40, one who explodes off the line, one who's drawing internal comparisons to your breakout star, and treat him like a long shot. No, sir. When you select a player like Jaylen Royals, you're broadcasting a message to the league. We are not leaving Mahomes outgunned ever again. And here's the kicker. When you flip on Royals tape from Utah State, you don't see a raw project. You see urgency. You see a man who plays every snap like it's his last. You see a receiver with filthy yacht, slippery movement in space, and an aggressive will to dominate every matchup. When Ryan Nutt compared Royals' development needs to Rashee Rice's, it wasn't criticism. It was a challenge. And if Royals accepts that challenge like Rice did, we may be looking at Kansas City's next great receiver duo, but let's not pretend this is happening in isolation. The Rashee Rice storyline still looms large. 938 yards, 79 receptions. As a rookie, that's not promising. It's proven, but 4 games in the last season, he's out, injured, and just like that, a season's worth of potential vanishes. That void created an opportunity, an opening, and into that stepped Xavier Worthy. Now, Kansas City has 3 young, explosive, fearless weapons, Worthy, Rice, and Royals, all on rookie deals, all hungry, all ready to go. If you still think Mahomes is going to struggle with options in 2025, you haven't been paying attention. Let's end with this. Mindset, because that's what separates contenders from champions. By all accounts, Royals doesn't just want to be here. He wants to take over. He's not showing up to learn quietly. He's not content sitting behind others. He's coming for snaps. He's coming to earn hits. He's coming to force Andy Reid and the coaching staff to put him on the field. And if Rashee Rice isn't fully ready when the season starts, Royals just might be the next man up. He looks even faster than advertised. Let that sink in, a 4th-round rookie being trusted to contribute immediately on a Super Bowl caliber roster. That tells you exactly what kind of alpha mindset this coaching staff sees in him. But don't overlook the locker room effect either. When young, hungry talent starts nipping at the heels of established veterans, the entire culture elevates. That wide receiver room just became a battleground. You think Xavier Worthy is going to sit back and let Jaylen Royals steal his shine? You think Rashee Rice is going to get outworked by a rookie? Absolutely not. What you're going to witness is iron sharpening iron, a relentless fire fueled by competition. And the one who benefits most, Patrick Lavon Mahomes EI. Now let's break this down from a scheme standpoint, not just emotion, because the Chiefs aren't just rolling out a bunch of burners and hoping for the best. This offense is built on timing, spacing, and lethal yards after catch. That's where Royals fits like a glove. And here's the chessboard. Defenses must account for Worthy's elite speed stretching the field deep. That stretches coverage. And the moment they do, Royals eats underneath. 5-yard routes suddenly turn into 20-yard chunk plays. That's where he makes his living. That's how he becomes a problem. And once Rashee Rice returns to full health, you've got a 3-headed monster. You can't double all three. You can't jam them all at the line. You can't roll a safety over to every threat. Somebody's getting left in space, and Mahomes will find him every single time. Let me say this as clearly as possible for the folks in the back. This is not about replacing Rice. Let's kill that narrative right now. Rashee Rice is still that dude. He's still Roan caliber. This is about weaponizing the offense, building depth, and ensuring that what happened last season, Mahomes scrambling to create magic with unreliable hands, never happens again. This is about forcing defenses to sweat, to chase, to panic. This is about flooding the field with speed, skill, and youthful firepower. And don't for a second think the veterans aren't feeling the pressure. Guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Justin Watson know the deal. The NFL doesn't wait. The league doesn't pause for you to get your rhythm. You either produce or get replaced. And with Royals knocking loudly on the door, every rep, every route, every single snap becomes a job interview. Weaselly, everybody, this move also sends a loud message to the entire AF. Like, we're not standing still. Even after 6 straight AFC championship appearances, even after multiple Lombardis, even with Mahomes in his prime, the Chiefs are still reloading, reinventing, ruthlessly evolving, and that should absolutely terrify the league because a team that's already dominant and still hungry, still retooling for greatness, still adding ammunition for the most gifted quarterback of this generation. That's not a team you want to face in January. That's a team coming for blood. Now let's get brutally honest. The success of this pick hinges on one thing: integration. Can Jaylen Royals grasp the complexity of Reid's system? Can he earn Mahomes' trust in training camp? Can he stay healthy, stay locked in, and deliver when the lights are bright? Because make no mistake, he's going to get opportunities. And when those moments come, he better seize them. This isn't about just making the 53-man roster, which is alum that is out. Carving out a role, building real chemistry, earning meaningful targets, becoming a go-to guy in critical moments. That's how you go from 4th-round flyer to household name. That's how you become part of the Mahomes legacy. So let me ask you, Chiefs Kingdom, are you ready for the resurrection of Rashee Rice? Are you ready for the rise of Jaylen Royals? Are you ready for an offense that doesn't just survive, but overwhelms, outguns, and dominates? Because that's exactly what this season is shaping up to be. And if the chemistry clicks, if these pieces mesh the way I believe they can, the rest of the league is in serious trouble. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below. Do you believe in the Chiefs Young Warrior Corps? Type W if you're riding with Royals Rice, and Worthy type L if your faith is fading. Smash that like button if you want more breakdowns like this. And if you bleed red and gold, hit subscribe because we got the inside edge on every Chiefs move all season long. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you guys. See you next video.